So you've learned a language for a while, but you're still not getting there with how you sound. As soon as you open your mouth, whoever you're talking to, whether it be a native speaker or even someone who doesn't speak the language, they're telling you that you don't sound very local. Your pronunciation still has a lot of errors, and it just doesn't come off smoothly. Even if you know a lot of words, even if you've studied for a while, it still isn't coming off. And I was kind of there too. I had studied Chinese for years. I still was speaking not as fluently, not as eloquently as I wanted to. And it was really hard to get over that hurdle, but over time, I realized the best way for me to do that. And I kind of developed my own strategy. I haven't really heard people talking about it online or anything like that. And it's, maybe I have to an extent, but they wouldn't say it the exact way I do, the exact strategy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into that today. So how did I improve my pronunciation? The biggest thing that I would say, kind of to start off here, is that a native speaker, how they talk, their cadence, the way they pronounce the words, obviously you want that to be the main thing you model your own pronunciation off of. If you sound like a native speaker, then that means you're doing the right thing. So what I would do, specifically in Chinese, is I would find Chinese TV shows, and kind of like a reality TV show. I would not recommend finding a very scripted type of thing. I would recommend like a reality television show. And why is that? Because a reality TV show is going to be more daily life talking. If it's like a scripted drama, they're going to talk maybe in a more exaggerated manner. You could still use it. I just would say it's not optimal. Find a reality TV show in your language, your target language, and what you're going to do is you're going to record portions of it. So a line of dialogue with words that you may be familiar with, like more basic, like find a basic sentence. For example, if they said in your language, "What are you doing?" Like in Chinese, it would be like, "你在干嘛?" I would find a simple sentence like that, or "Where are you?" And I would record it. All you need is the audio. If you did the video too, that would be fine, but clip the audio and then leave a blank space between when they say it and give it a pause. So for example, it's a 2-second clip, then you're going to leave a 2 or 3 second pause after that. So you're going to basically edit together a file of a bunch of these phrases all together. It'll be, for example, in the Chinese, it might be 你在做什么? And then it would be blank. Give you the time to recite it. And then after you give you the time in the clip for you to recite it, you're going to put it again. And that's just to kind of fine tune your ear, I guess, because you said, you hear it, you say it, and then you hear it again. So that's kind of the strategy I would recommend you go through with it. Put a bunch of them together. And also, especially when you're getting started, you can even slow down the time. So maybe put it on 0.75 speed or something. That way, you can really hear the intricacies of how they're pronouncing the words. Once you have done that, in your downtime when you're in the car, maybe if no one's around, because it might be kind of embarrassing, but what you're going to do is you're going to play that constantly. You should get it to the point where maybe you have 20 different clips within it. You've memorized what comes after the next, because you've heard it so many times, you basically memorized the entire clip. And then what I would say you do is, if you've done that enough over and over and over, then at a certain point, your pronunciation is going to start to be like the person in the video. And then the next step after that is you're going to record yourself. You're going to record yourself saying the lines. So then you've kind of memorized it. At that point, you're going to take the lines and you're going to say them yourself. And since you've heard it over and over and over, at that point, you're going to know what the correct one sounds like, and you can compare your own pronunciation to the pronunciation that the original is. And then at that point, you're just gonna hone in, fine tune on what you've said personally and see where does it sound like it doesn't match exactly. So one step at a time, you'll just keep refining. And after a while, eventually, your pronunciation is gonna sound the same. After that, you can go ahead and repeat this process, find a new set of clips, and do the same thing over and over and over. And after you've done that for a while, you'll realize your pronunciation starts to be more and more fluent, more and more native. And especially in a language like Chinese, where it's a tonal language, different tones have different meanings with the same spelling and pinyin, but then a different spelling or a different tone would change the meaning. It's really helpful because if you don't memorize the tones on paper, you know exactly what it sounds like. So then you can kind of like say it back to yourself. So the word to do in Chinese is 做. If you just memorize the clip over and over and over and over and said it 1,000 times, then it's just kind of within you. You don't have to know, oh, it's fourth tone. You've said it, you're pronouncing it correctly, and you don't have to do as much rote memorization. So for all of you who your pronunciation is still not there in your language, this would be a big method that I would recommend you take with you and you refine it. And that's how I improve my Chinese speaking a lot quickly.